Well, hello everyone. So pleased you're able to join us. And on behalf of myself, Judy, Cheryl, Dolphin, and Tim, we want to welcome you all to our summer focus around heart health in the fire element. Before we get started, as we always do, we are going to be talking a little bit about Sunrider products. So I just want to share with everybody that none of the information provided in this presentation is intended to represent a diagnosis or cure of any illness or disease. And for any new people watching, I just want to share, as we always do, some of the reasons why you should consider Sunrider and some of the reasons that I'm here after all these years. First of all, Sunrider's been around over 42 years, which makes it an extremely stable company, especially when you look at our industries where businesses can come and go overnight. Sunrider operates in over 50 countries around the world, allowing each and every one of us the opportunity to have an international business if that's something we choose. And you've all heard from me enough. That's one of my favorite things about Sunrider is being able to travel and visit my friends in Australia, New Zealand, Hungary, Western Europe, etc. Really important coming from a manufacturing background for me. Sunrider internally handles all the research and development and manufacturing of all of our products. And again, folks, that's very unusual in our industry. Most companies would simply hand a third party a recipe and says, please make my stuff. They have no control over the research, development, or manufacturing of their foods. Sunrider internally handles all of that in their manufacture of over 400 of the world's finest whole food nutritionals, cleansing beverages, weight loss, sports and fitness, green household, and all natural skincare and cosmetics. And, I just want to give a quick shout out to Sunrider on something that just recently happened with our K Pure set of cleansing products in the skincare line, which is something that I've been using every single day since it was released a couple of years ago here in the US. Sunrider was awarded the Bronze Award in the sensitive skin category, 4K Pure, in the prestigious National Health and Beauty Award programs. And honestly, I think we got robbed. We should have gotten gold, but we'll accept the bronze and be happy with it and move forward. But folks, again, it just shows the incredible nature of these products and how that internal manufacturing and the care to the philosophy of regeneration, which Cheryl is going to share with us right now, really makes a difference in these products and these foods that we all consume every day. So with that, Cheryl, let me turn over to you, the philosophy of regeneration.
Thank you so much, Mac. Sunrider products are based on a very simple yet powerful idea, and it blends traditional Chinese medicine and advanced Western science, and we call it the philosophy of regeneration. And when we nourish with only the finest natural ingredients and cleanse the harmful chemicals, artificial colors, flavors, preservatives, we bring our body into balance. And a balanced body is a very healthy body. And I love what Dr. Chen, his quote for this philosophy of regeneration. He says, it reflects the core concepts of my knowledge and beliefs and is the blueprint behind every Sunrider product. And there's actually four principles to the philosophy of regeneration. And the first one is if you nourish and cleanse, you get balance. Sunrider products nourish the yin and cleanse the yang and our body's five systems, and it promotes balance, optimal health, and energy. And the second is we use clean foods, not chemicals. Our products are made with nutrient-rich whole foods, herbs, not synthetic, artificial, or highly processed ingredients. And number three, we need a variety. There's no perfect food or ingredient, and too much of anything can unbalance the body and even damage our health. And our products are a vital variety of whole food ingredients. And number four, and my very favorite, and I think most important, is our experts, the Chen family, who are experts in Chinese medicine, in their doctors, their herbalists, their pharmacists, their organic chemists. They are the experts behind the formulations and concentrations. Most companies outsource their manufacturing, or they have a team of business people that put the ideas together, but we control every aspect, personally ensuring the potency, the purity, integrity, and safety. And that is what makes Sunrider simply the best.
I love it. Thank you, Cheryl. Ben.
Yeah, so we're now in summer, which in Chinese medicine is the heart and small intestine, the fire element. And so today we're going to focus a bit about talking about those two organ systems, especially the heart, or those of us that are wearing red. So obviously the color is red for this season. And the heart is considered the emperor of the organs. It governs the blood circulation and houses the Shen or the spirit. And when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense because um, through conception, the heart is the first organ that forms. And so without our beating heart, we don't have life and we don't have, our spirit. So yeah, it's a very, very, of course, important organ system. And then the paired organ, the small intestine, is considered the brother of the heart and the supreme controller, particularly around conscious thinking and emotions. And so we know, of course, the heart, it pumps the blood, it circulates blood, which is, of course, carries a lot of the nutrients through our body. The small intestine's job is to separate the clear from the turbid. So the clear is going to be our essential nutrients that then get sent to the spleen for distribution in the body. And the turbid, of course, is waste. So that gets sent to the large intestine for elimination. And we can also take that into the mental component as well and think about how with mental clarity, it's choosing wisely what we want to take in and absorb our thoughts, our choices, etc., and what we want to discard or separate ourselves from the turbid thoughts. So there's a nice combination of both the physical and the mental component that we can utilize in this element. So, the emotion around the fire element is joy and creativity and vitality. And the sound is laughing. The color, as I said, is red. The sense organ is the tongue, and the tissue are our blood vessels. And in some other calls that we're going to be doing, we'll get into more discussion on how those elements can, how they're interrelated and how they really affect us. But today we're really going to focus on the heart because let's face it, our heart and heart health it's a huge topic, especially heart disease. And um, we we know that heart disease is uh, can be not only a killer in the U.S. I looked it up in the U.S. It is the leading cause of death in the U.S. and it's the second leading cause in Canada of death is heart disease. And the number one cause of heart disease is a buildup of fatty substances in the arteries, which is called atherosclerosis. And in my opinion, lifestyle is the biggest contributor to heart disease, to these fatty substances getting clogging up our channels. And so things like an unhealthy diet, lack of exercise, obesity, smoking, these things are going to contribute to heart disease. And I just have to say that, my recent travels to Japan and Korea made it me really aware just because being in another culture of just seeing the difference in dietary staples and the lack of obesity in those countries compared to what we have here in North America. And so we know that lifestyle plays a huge component in the health of our body and in particular our heart. And so today we're going to share some insights into nutrients and lifestyle practices that can help reduce or prevent heart imbalances or heart disease. And Mac, I know there's one crucial molecule that we have touched on in other calls that can improve circulation, regulate blood pressure, blood flow, and overall heart function. And so, what is it? And please tell us more about it.
Well, that would be nitric oxide, Finn, and thank you so much for the great setup. Before we talk a little bit about this, I saw something today actually that was about Japan, and it was regarding the percentage of people that are healthy, living vital lives over the age of 100 in Japan as a country. And it related back to all the things you said, diet, lifestyle, exercise, you name it, the way they think, the way they eat, all the everything. So, I mean, again, what great to longevity we're talking about. You know, again, thank you, Finn. I know I recently had an opportunity to interview our dear friend, upline and mentor Bob Dara, about his personal heart health issue, his love for the Sunrider foods, and his thoughts around Sunrider and our great future. The interview was posted earlier this week, I should say, on our 5 Elements and our Rising Stars team Facebook pages. So if anybody on this call hasn't had a chance to check that out, please do. It's a great interview, and one of the things in our conversation that Bob mentions is the product Meta Booster in terms of the Sunrider food he's consuming. And in fact, this last year, we actually created a promotion around Meta Booster, and in particular, the nitric oxide that's generated in our bodies because of it. And I suspect many of you listening to this call has probably participated in that promo. So what does nitric oxide have to do with heart health? And, you know, as we look at this, I'm going to move us over here just a little bit. Nitric oxide is a critical molecule for maintaining a healthy cardiovascular function. It helps regulate blood pressure, improve blood flow, protects against plaque formation, prevents excessive blood clotting, and reduces inflammation. You know, this really ensures that our heart is healthy, and it helps us to prevent cardiovascular diseases, which is what Finn was just talking about. Now, in the body, the amino acid L-arginine is what changes into nitric oxide. And guess what the key ingredient is in Meta Booster? It is L-arginine. So, folks, again, if you hadn't had a chance to try Meta Booster yet, and the impact of nitric oxide or L-arginine, and then changing the body, changing it to nitric oxide in your body, I encourage you all to do so. And I've shared this story many times before, but I think it is appropriate here once again. I can remember 22 years ago now when I was first introduced to Meta Booster by Dr. Chen. It was one of my first international trips after my father had passed away. We were sitting in a restaurant in Italy, just outside of Rome. And Dr. Chen, as he always does, pulls out his big bag or his little bag, I should say, of capsules that he takes with every meal. And I noticed 2 white pills in there that I had never seen before. And it was, of course, question, Dr. Chen, what are those? And he got this very solemn look on his face. And he said, Mac, this is called Meta Booster, and I'm so sorry I didn't come up with this 2 years ago, because I know there's a good chance if your dad had been consuming this, he'd still be with us here today. So look, folks, needless to say, this is a food that I consume every day, and I encourage you give Meta Booster a try. If you haven't done it yet, please give it a try. Now we're going to, oops, sorry, got the bar there. One slide too many. I'm going to turn this over now to Tim to talk to us a little bit about a couple of the products you can see here on the screen.
Hey, Mac, that's such a heartfelt story about with Dr. Chen and your dad, I have to say. But it really hits home, and that's the whole idea. I just want to talk about a couple of products very quickly. PA is the summer formula of the 5 formulas that we can either get in the Quinery all at one time, or if you want to isolate that and feed your endocrine system, make sure all those hormonal messages are balanced, and our body has the ability to through that nourishment to send those messages wherever they need to go, so that we can have a great metabolism and make sure everything's working right. And it just follows perfectly in line with Evergreen, which is a wonderful iron source, also to help boost our hemoglobin levels and oxygenate our blood, which is what we do when we breathe well, and make sure that we get that oxygen where it needs to go, and also our ability to eliminate also. But a little bit of a booster I would I'm going to throw a side in there, is just to have a little Electrosport. If you want to amplify your Evergreen or Ocean Light or many other products, a little electrolytic action is always good. And we're taking that right into, I think Judy's going to talk to us about beetroot possibly.
That's right. Thanks, Tim. Very good reminders. Have to increase both of those during this season. Moving right into color, and what's a more beautiful color than beets? I tell you what, that is an explosion of color to me, and we often hear about eating the rainbow. In the spring, we focused on the greens, what was above ground. And as we moved into summer, something beautiful was developing below the soil. And that was, of course, the root, the big beetroot. And earlier in the summer, it's smaller, fabulous raw, and great in salads. But I don't know about you. Sometimes I'm in the mood for some good beets or a nice, fresh, lively beet salad. And I go to the store and a little bit not too good of an offering there. And so I was so grateful last summer when the herb product line was introduced, and particularly the beetroot powder, because beets, we have learned through the years, are so good for the heart, the blood, the circulation. And it's so nice to have something so concentrated and clean to add. I'm currently enjoying one of my favorite drinks for summer, and that is Raspberry Fortune Delight with the beetroot powder and a little bit of Sunny Dew. I'm sure all of you, once you've heard about it too, have started using that as well. It's also good when you want to add color, or I'm looking forward to the even bigger roots as we move into the harvest season, and making some, I can never say it right, but borscht, beet soup. And I'm going to really liven up the color and bring more pizzazz and nutrition to my soup with the beetroot powder. So it's certainly a product that I keep on the shelf always. And if you haven't tried it, you're missing out. So I hope you do. And another great product is Viros. And how do we use that, Cheryl?
Thank you, Judy. That was awesome. For nourishing our heart, we need some really concentrated good nutrition. And of course, Dr. Chen created our Viros. So Viros nourishes our heart muscle. And what happens when our heart muscle is nourished? We have better circulation, and the flow of the blood is smoother and cleaner. And what happens when that happens is we have less things challenged in the body. Like for me, my legs, I have things going on with my veins. But when I have Viros, I don't have those aches and pains that you can have when you have varicose veins. And it's also awesome to support our libido, strengthening our stamina, promotes healthy circulation, bone strength, skin tone, shortens recovery time. I love using it when I'm working out or going for a nice brisk walk. It works really quickly, and it's, even though people always think, oh, this has to be for guys, no, it's good for gals too. So anyway, great product to nourish the heart. And then, Finn, I think it's back to you, honey.
Thank you. Yeah, I started using Viros after I went through the change of life. And coming back to the endocrine system, it helped balance that testosterone level. So really good for weight management too. So like Cheryl said, men and women can enjoy that. And then, of course, as Judy was talking about, eating the rainbow. So, heart health, we are focused on the deep reds and purples. That is the color for the heart. I forgot to mention that the flavor for the heart is bitter. So, this is also a really great time of year. I'm really enjoying out of the garden my arugula, my dandelion greens, my mustard greens, endive, burdock roots. So, things that have a little more of a bitter flavor to them is really fantastic. I love having that in my salads. When you think about fruit, it's easy to think about like watermelon and strawberries and tomatoes. Yes, the heart fruit. I think the Italians call the tomato the fruit of love or something like that. And then we want to focus on more lean proteins, so more of the legumes and things like that, and our good fats, getting lots of omega-3 into our diet as well is really important. Judy, what about you? What do you think about for table foods?
Oh, I think you did an excellent job. And I think, again, the beets, as I already mentioned, and I think eating the wide variety, as you mentioned, and the richest colors, just like red is such a rich color. I think summer, you think, well, I don't want to increase the warmth, but the color actually is increasing the strength and the heartbeat and the joy and the laughter that we're talking about. So we're building up as we head into the next season. So this is definitely a time to take advantage of all the things available, because depending on where we live, that's going to gradually dwindle. And so it's good to focus what you can get fresh, raw, and anything you don't have to use the oven for if you live in Arizona. So variety is the spice, they say. So go for it.
Excellent. Hey, Judy, can you talk to us a little bit, please start us off on with some of the other things that we can do naturally to increase nitric oxide levels in our body?
Sure. I was so surprised and intrigued when we did the no challenge, as you referred to a while back, with the nitric oxide. And simple things that we can incorporate are going to make a difference as to how much we take in just naturally. So one is nose breathing. Who knew? Breathing through your nose creates nitric oxide, whereas the mouth does the exact opposite. So we want to breathe in through the nose and really practice that, because sometimes we're not aware of that. And many people like Tim know more about that and all the value in different areas of our life, anxiety and different things. But just simply pause and notice and really increase that. And even humming through your nose will increase the nitric oxide. Also, oral hygiene. We all know we should have, keep our teeth clean and very refreshed after a meal. But however, we don't want to use that 99.9% bacteria-free stuff in the mouthwash, because that actually kills the friendly bacteria and has long range effects because it's killing your nitric oxide. And we've already established the connection between this and the heart. And that's why oftentimes before a person goes in for any kind of oral surgery, they may be asked to take an antibiotic, and especially if they have any heart problems. So oral health is so important. And sunlight exposure. And sometimes we think, well, heavens, I live in a sunny area. I don't need to be concerned about that. But yes, you do, because it's not just how much sun there is, it's how much your body absorbs and when you're going out, or how you're going about it. So early morning is tantamount wherever you live. And also the eye exposure to early morning sun is very, you get a lot more bang, so to speak. So we want to be conscious of our exposure. The ability to make the vitamin D in the body has a direct effect on nitric oxide, and we know that is often, it's definitely influenced by the sun. And then another thing that we hear a lot about is grounding. I don't see, oh, there it is, and on the picture. And I think people are more and more familiar. Now, we've always heard about it. I did thousands of years ago in the old health books. And you think, oh yeah, walk on the ground in the grass. And that might be easy if you have a nice grassy backyard. However, in the high desert where I live, that could be dangerous with the rocks and the stones and the prickles. And then I'll drive to a park. Well, hey, how many doggies have been to that park? And what do they use to control the weeds in that park? And so honestly, we're thinking, oh yeah, we do that. And no, we don't. We have to take extra steps today to be sure we're grounded. And that expression is used often, and people have forgotten it. That's what it literally means. Our pets will flatten themselves on the ground. There are frequencies. The Schumann wave that is present in the earth is a grounding frequency. When animals hear that, they love it. They'll try to get closer to it. But there are different things out there like mats, foot pads, sheets for your bed, different things to facilitate that. And I'm a promoter of that because I think it's great. So do a little research and you'll find good things on that. And okay, Tim, tell us about exercise and correct my nose breathing explanation.
Perfect, Judy. No, it's great. Just a little addendum to that is breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. That's the only thing that,
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, you
let it
already
out
know it.
again.
You nailed it. That was perfect. I love it. And we're going to start off with the exercise. And what's interesting, I believe, is that these all are lifestyle choices that help our metabolism and the connection between nitric oxide and our metabolic rate. And exercise being very important. And what's really cool is how the body is built. And I always marvel at this, is that it's adaptable and it listens to the messages you give it. So when you're exercising, you're actually opening your body's ability and feeding its ability to increase your metabolism. Basically, that's the end result. But I love, there's a little, Mac made a post the other day on the 5 Element page of consistency, and he had a picture of somebody who had been working out and showing a year and progression over a couple of years and how much difference there was. But the body adapts and it delivers what you ask of it. And it's just, I think it's, some people forget that that's the case. And when we remember, it makes such a difference. And it doesn't have to be some great giant workout. As Mac mentioned in the post, it's about consistency. And when we have that little bit of consistency, like doing some yoga every day, or going for that walk every day, exercise helps all of those things, especially because you can apply the nose breathing to your exercise. And I do also. I do my very best to make sure that I'm mindful of it all the time. So exercise, kind of self-explanatory, but our body's ready and willing, no matter your age, to be able to step up and improve obviously your nitric oxide production and all the benefits that go with that. And another little thing that is really helpful is a sauna. You want to be finished. It's sauna and cold extremes. Like in the wintertime here, I have a couple of friends who have saunas, and you jump in there, get yourself really hot, and you might jump into a snowbank for 2 or 3 minutes after you get yourself so hot that the snow feels like relief. It seems like a shock to some people, but when you go take yourself to one side or the other, it's such a wonderful, I don't want to say extreme, I'm going to say a blissful contrast. How's that? And it's really helping your body help itself to be able to manage and adapt even further than it already is. The more we ask of it, the more it starts to deliver. And sleep, our regeneration cycle, big time. So important. A lot of us think we can get by. A lot of people brag, "Oh, I get by on 3 hours of sleep a night." Well, man, I don't expect your regenerative ability to last for too long. Including myself, I used to be one of those people too. Now I'm making sure I get a minimum of 6 hours of REM every night. And of course, my nitric oxide production is going to happen in great dimensions as a result of that. And waking, nothing like waking up fresh, and nothing like waking up before your alarm to know that you had a great sound regeneration cycle, and that's what it's all about. And to take it from that to the next little place, and what most of us, or a lot of us, do first thing in the morning before you do a whole lot, is to have a meditation. And meditation, the first thing you're mindful of is your breath. I like to go into my breath and do exactly what Judy was talking about. It's taking myself through that cycle. And you can feel the difference within your body when you ask of it what it's capable and able to do. And it's like thanking, I think it's like your body and the universe itself is thanking you for paying attention. And you get rewarded with high vitality, health, and hypermetabolic rate, which is what I like to call it. And I like to live that way too, because it's always giving you back. Mac, you might be able to tie into this a little bit and take us through a little broader scope, or a finishing scope of this, if you would.
Tim, thank you so much. And Judy, great job, both of you, in terms of going through some of this stuff. And, I look at this picture and I laugh a little because we probably all do some of this stuff every day anyway, maybe in different orders. Mine is, I like to do the meditation, then the exercise. And of course I try to do it outside, as Judy said, before 7:30 in the morning, so I can get some good early morning sun exposure, and just great stuff. And again, I hope you guys that are listening here can certainly start using some of the Sunrider foods we've talked about. Look at your tables and what you're putting on your table that can increase the nitric oxide for yourself, and do some of these practices we've just got through talking about, because they really will help. And this is all about heart health, and let's do everything we can to keep our hearts healthy. And to kind of conclude things, first of all, thank you, Judy, Tim, Cheryl, Dolphin, for sharing the way that you have today. And the audience, thank you for paying attention. And we want to let you know that we do have a couple other things coming up. We are going to come back to you and talk about how mineral electrolytes, collagen, and to Judy's point earlier, oral care impacts our heart health so much. So please stay tuned, and we'll look forward to seeing you again real soon. And again, folks, if you haven't done it, check out the Facebook pages and listen to the interview with Bob Darrow, okay? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye now.